know a lot of people expected it to be an instrumental, more shreddy, heavier album, but if I had a deeper voice, if I could sound badass, it would probably be heavier. But I wrote it to accommodate my voice, which is pretty soft, as you know, it was pretty much my speaking voice. And I just really wanted it to be focused around the lyrics, and I wrote the guitar for the song.
Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes in Shredder Supreme and new album having artist Nikki Stringfield. How are you doing, Nikki?
I'm awesome. I'm awesome. Happy to be here. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's so great to see you and so great to talk to you. Ironically, just in the last couple of weeks, you were on tour. As we're recording this, you were on tour with the Iron Maidens, which is where people will know you from mostly, besides your solo career and guest appearances and showing up at things like Bulverani and things like charity events and things like that. But our homie Pags, who does some photography and support for us here at Ghost Cult, just saw the Iron Maidens. I think it was in Northern California here, where I'm based, and maybe Sacramento or
Uh,
thereabouts, and was raving about the show.
oh,
And
awesome.
he's
Yeah.
he's a
Roseville, probably.
yeah, Roseville, exactly,
Yeah.
right near his HQ in Sacramento. We know Goldfield and Roseville and all the associated clubs very well,
Right.
and Northern Cal loves their rock and stuff, and they love the Iron Maidens apparently.
It's a great audience. That was our second time playing at the Goldfield Roseville, and I love that venue. And it was a
Nice.
packed house. It was great.
Yeah, Pags is quite the guitar player himself. So when he praises someone, it's like worthy. Um, he re- we he and I have spent many a time talking about guitars, and he loves Maiden. So I know he was there. He might have been taking some pictures. I don't know if those are going to show up somewhere. But you have a new solo album out, Apocrypha, which came out just recently. So we're here to talk mostly about that today, and I'm really excited to talk to you about it. This is I followed the earlier EPs and singles, and again when you popped up somewhere else. But this is really cool. I know you took a long time to work on it. It's fully realized. So tell us a little bit about this full length solo album.
It's surreal. It's almost been out a month now. I almost kind of don't know what to do because I was working up to it for about 3 years up to this release. I released my EP Harmonies for the Haunted in October of 2019, and we didn't really get to do much with it because the pandemic hit. We're just kind of stuck at home. What better timing to start a new album? We have nothing else to do. So Apocrypha was born out of kind of the pandemic, and we didn't really know if music was going to come back. We didn't know if touring was going to come back. It was kind of apocalyptic, like especially you said you're in San Francisco. It was crazy here in Los Angeles too. The fires and the riots and just the crazy politics of everything. And so a lot of the subject matter came out of that, from like Flesh and Bones and the spell, like the modern day witch trials and everything. So it's a little bit darker lyrical content, but that's just where I was at the time. And I just sat down and we wrote, and we it unfortunately took 3 years in a good way because touring did start back up. And then I had to finish recording it in between all of our crazy schedules. And we picked the date, September 28th, when we did the album release, and we kind of scheduled the whole release around that. So it has been a crazy couple of months. I'll tell you that. And it's just surreal that it's already almost been out for a month now.
Nice. Well, it seems like the response has been terrific, not just from your diehard fans that are obviously going to support you, but, there are a lot of, you're well known for your acumen at guitar, you're an incredible player. A lot of people make shred guitar albums, right? It's just like, we're going to make some instrumental jams and I'm just going to noodle over it and show you what I can do. But these are great songs. You put a lot of care into this songwriting, not just with your songwriting partner and yourself, but vocals. There's all kinds of different flavors of rock and heavy metal on here. It's not just a one-dimensional guitar person record. So I know that there's an audience for that, and I love that stuff too. I'm a huge nerd. I can't shred worth my salt, but I love guitar stuff. I've always been a music nerd. I had like a classical upbringing and things like that. So, but at the same time, I love that these are like just fully developed songs and they really show all your talents. It's not just like, oh, I play guitar. It's like much more than that for people who don't know.
Thank you. Yeah, I know a lot of people expected it to be an instrumental, more shreddy, heavier album, but if I had a deeper voice, if I could sound badass, it would probably be heavier. But I wrote it to accommodate my voice, which is pretty soft, as you know, it was pretty much my speaking voice. And I just really wanted it to be focused around the lyrics. And I wrote the guitar for the song. And I don't know, I always have loved being able to sing along to songs as much as I love instrumental music. I just didn't think that was for so. And I like the challenge. I like a new challenge of having to conquer something else. Like I only started singing during the pandemic recently. So
Right on. Well, you have to find your natural voice, and there's only one like Ann Wilson, and there's only one, there's a handful of goddesses and gods in the world of folk, Dickinson and Halford and Ann Wilsons and things like that. But like, I like that it's your natural voice. It is, you carry the songs, not weak. Your voice stands equal to the guitar, the songwriting, and the guitar playing, which I think is important. And it seems like, again, there's no shame in that game. Not all of us are. There's, we do what we can. I think your voice also serves the music, and the music also highlights what you can do vocally, and I think it's very cool.
thank you.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that.
yeah, you can tell it with you what you cared. It's not like I don't have anyone to sing on this. And and again, you could write for other people too. And I know a lot of again, guitar centric albums. They might bring in someone,
Yeah.
or progressive rock and metal bands have the like acrobatic singer to match all the
Yeah.
wizardry, all the jazz hands going on. But I like that this is kind of homegrown, and you wrote it and performed it with your friends, which is the best, right? Your frequent partners.
Absolutely. We brought in I'm in another original band called Heaven Below. And so we had our drummer, Shad, play all the drums because I am not a drummer. I will not pretend to know anything about the drums. I wish I could. I've always wanted to be able to play drums, but I programmed a few of the songs really horribly. But I was just like, kind of gets my idea across, do your thing. And I mean, he definitely did his thing. And some of them came out totally different in a really great way. And I played bass on my last EP, but I had my husband Patrick play bass on this one. Kind of took a lot of the stress off of me, for this one, and he also played a lot of the fill-in guitar parts and everything. So, and he helped with some of the lyrics too. So it was more of a collaborative effort on this one, which was nice. And it's people that I've performed and played with before, so that was fun.
Nice work. Yeah, and definitely when you can get some support, as well as leave you to focus on your parts and not have to carry the weight of everything.
Yeah.
And bass is a whole, when respectfully treated, bass is a whole nother animal. As a retired bass player,
Yeah.
I'm always fighting for bassists, but they have their place, and we need somebody to play the bass parts, and they are bass parts, not just we're doubling all the guitars, which also would be hard. It can
We
make a
always say
challenge.
we don't want to sound like a guitar player playing
Right,
bass.
right.
And I would say it's always, at least living here in Los Angeles, out of my experience, it's been hard to find great bass players. It's always been hard for us to find just a good bass player.
See,
Luckily, I found one for this project now.
I always think it's drummers that are hard to find because it's like Spinal Tap. They just explode, and drummers have the most. Oh, we have our dog here. Hello.
Well, I'm sure he'll pop in again.
Yay! We love all the pets. Pets are basically better than people in most cases, so we want all the pets coming in.
Like,
But drummers seem always a challenge in my experience to find somebody who's great but also like reliable. And drummers tend to be like, I know guitar players and lead vocalists get all the shine, but it's drummers who actually are the backbone of a lot of groups, and they're hard to hard to nail down because they're in demand.
if I didn't have Shad, I don't even want to think about it.
Right on, right on.
Um,
Keep them happy. Keep it, to keep
right?
giving them compliments and take them out for breakfast and
Exactly.
remember their birthdays. Hug a drummer. I think it was just Hug a Drummer Day. Not kidding. Last week is like National Hug a Drummer Day.
Oh, yeah, I think I did see it. That's awesome.
Somebody in music PR probably made that up, but whatever. We're here. Let's hug. We'll hug it out. We're in a good zone. In the world right now, we need more hugs, and there's a lot of other stuff. But music's a great respite. Let me ask you about your musical career. How did you get started with guitar? What was like the first song you ever remember? Oh, we got a cat now. This is amazing.
This is Luna. Oh,
Hello. Look right in the camera.
So
Amazing.
oh, yes. I usually am bookended by 2 cats. So she'll be there. I'm sure my black cat Lucy will end up here. It's like every time I sit here.
Fantastic. But yeah, let's hear about the origin story of how did you get started in music?
So I have the most awesome parents. I was born in 90, and my parents were both rockers, listened to all the 80s metal, all the 80s rock. My dad plays guitar too, so luckily I had pretty awesome parents. And my mom would take me to shows, to all the live concerts and everything. So I was about 14 when I finally decided I wanted to play guitar. My dad had already gotten me one a few years prior, but being born in 90 and with the Backstreet Boys and all that, not too metal, but of course, being a kid, I was so into that. I finally decided I wanted to get into guitar and go more rockin'. So Nirvana was my favorite band at the time. I got a guitar tab book and I taught myself every song in it. And so I really started out with a huge love of Nirvana. I was known as Nirvana Girl in high school. And, I know people are like, how do you love Nirvana and Kurt Cobain and you're a guitar player?" Well, I guess that shows in the songwriting because then I got into Avenged, and obviously I'm from Dallas, so Pantera, and I have a huge variety of influences, and so that kinda started it, but I had nobody to jam with, being in the middle of nowhere, and so I went to college at UT in Austin thinking live music capital of the world, supposedly. I still found nobody to jam with. I had nothing, so then I just moved on out to Los Angeles, through an internship, and I worked at Warner Brothers, finished my degree out here in Los Angeles, and went to NAMM, and that's how I met everybody, and it totally changed my life. I met the guys at Schecter who gave me a job to help me stay out here, got my endorsement. I'd been playing them since I was 14, so they knew I was just a huge fan of the company. And I got into the Iron Maidens and an original band called Before the Morning. And it just kind of went crazy and took off from there. I went from nothing, never stepping foot on a stage, to it's my 22nd birthday and I'm playing at the Roxy with my original band. And then the Maidens shortly after that. So it was it was a whirlwind. And
It's a whole
yeah,
movie,
yeah,
as
it's
the kids
crazy.
say.
Yeah, I went from little shy goth nerd kid to I can't be shy anymore. So
I hear that for like a push through the curtain by a
yeah.
stage mom. First of all, like yeah, that's amazing, and there's a lot of great guitar stuff in pop music. I never apologize for loving a good pop song. And there's by the way, Backstreet Boys has some tremendous guitar stuff. They had like Earwormy. I Want It That Way has like an incredible
Uh-huh.
acoustic guitar, right? Like you don't know that you know it, but then you know it. It's like why do I know this? This is amazing. I can't. You gotta let that stuff. Everybody's got to let that elitism go. Like I think especially heavy metal people, we have this thing that's like we can't like anything else. So
Yeah.
that's crazy. And then of course you went to UT, so hook 'em horns and devil horns.
Yeah.
So that was natural for you, but that's a great story and not uncommon. And that's a good advice for people aspiring guitar players. If you want to ever get an endorsement, find the brand of guitar you love and like literally stalk
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
politely.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't creep them out. Like I'm sure I was on the verge of that. I went every day and they let me hang in the booth because I had no friends and I didn't know anybody. And
Oh,
yeah,
well, now you
they
have a lot of friends. And Nam, a shout out to the Nam show. We've covered the Nam show a bit, and it's always a great. I know it's like a lot more commercialized now, and fans go, so it's kind of like a Comic Con experience a little bit.
yeah,
But
yeah.
everybody I know that go, I haven't been, but we've covered it as a brand, and everybody I know that's gone in the business loves it. And it's like a summer camp or winter camp, maybe family reunion. So that's really awesome. I'm glad that worked out for you. Let's talk a little bit about Apocrypha. And like I said, we'll do a little track by track
Cool.
association. I will shout out the titles. And sometimes this goes off the rails. Like I've interviewed a few people, like, I don't know what song this is. Um, but I hope you do know your material probably after 3 years. And whatever you want to share with us, we'd love
Okay.
to hear it from songwriting, singing, guitar, whatever you want to talk about.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so the album kicks off with the very badass No Surrender. You said you weren't a badass, but actually you are. This is a great opener.
Thank you. Now, this one, I knew I wanted it to open the album just because it sounds badass. We're opening the live shows with it. We kind of start like like how Iron Maiden, comes out with the beginning of Aces High, kind of pre-recorded, and then they walk out on stage and just go into the song. We do that with No Surrender in the live set. And I knew that would be a powerful set opener. I knew from the beginning that would be the album opener. And I wanted to start it heavy rockin' with I do the first solo, Patrick does the second solo. And yeah, I wanted that one to be one of the more guitar driven songs on the album. Not to throw anybody off and think, man, this is going to be just a shred thing all the way through, but I wanted the album to kick off heavy.
And super cool of you to share the limelight, not just because it's Patrick, but just in general. Like, you hear stories all the time of some of the most famous guitarists in the world, and they're not all nice people, and they're not all humble, and they're not all sharing is caring. So it's really
Yeah.
cool for you to share. I feel like there's a lot of shared wealth in the talent and the performances here.
Yeah, especially that since I'm singing a lot on stage, any help that I can get guitar wise, I am very happy to have that taken off my my hands. Since I've only done one show live, that is a totally different animal sitting there having to sing everything and play and jump to the solos and jump to the lead in between. It's a lot of footwork with the pedal board and everything. So I'm so thankful to have him covering.
Shout out to Patrick. The
Yeah.
Spell is the next track. The Spell.
I wanted well, this one kind of has a little bit more of a Marilyn Manson-y vibe. It is not easy to sing live, I'll tell you that. I think this one was actually one of the more difficult songs vocally to do. We weren't sure. I think we had to stop and come back to it because I was getting so frustrated. The harmonies weren't coming out right, the intervals, and it's a lot of lyrics. The song is a it's a lot of lyrics. At first I was like, "Can I even remember all of these?" But this one we wanted just a more simplified rockin' thing for like more radio friendly, easy guitar solos. But I think it's a really catchy riff, more Marilyn Manson-y.
We dig it. We're here for it. And I like the variety right off the bat in the album. Where the Demons Lie is the next track.
So this one, I usually start off writing songs in my head with lyrics, like a melody or something, especially chorus. This one I just sat down and wrote all of the music, the whole song in its entirety in just one sitting, except for the solo. And I didn't really know what to do with it lyric wise. We thought this was going to be one of the weaker songs just because it kind of I don't know why, but once we got the lyrics on it and the vocals, it totally changed our minds and we decided to make it the first single. So it's amazing how a song can start and totally change throughout the process.
Nice. We love to hear it. The Outsider is the next track.
I remember sitting in my backyard. This was during the pandemic, and I was thinking of a apocalyptic movie, just being alone and being against the world, like the world has ended. And so I wrote that one, and I have a Sustainiac on my guitar, and we use that a lot during that one. So once again, kind of more radio friendly, but I just heard it. I just kind of saw it in my head as like a movie as I wrote this.
Amazing. I love it. Lunacy, which a lot of us have suffered from the last few years, as globally, and right now also. Lunacy is the next track.
Yeah, this is the one we actually recorded and finished first. This is what we went for vocally first, because I had it all figured out. And I think this is my favorite guitar solo that I've ever done. It's just different. The song is happy. My dad was always like, can you write anything happy sounding?" I was like, "Well, sure. The lyrics aren't going to be happy, but I'm going to make it sound happy." And so I think this one stands apart from everything in the album or kind of everything that I've done.
Right on. You'll like this. So when I listen to a record to interview somebody, and I know I'm gonna approach them about a track by track, I make notes as I listen to stuff. And next to Lunacy and so you mentioned the solo, I wrote Cliffs of Dover. Right. So Eric Johnson, not too shabby. I had that same feeling, like that soaring, beautiful sound. So I love hearing that. The next track is Save Me.
This one I had started writing actually a while back, and I was going through my laptop and I found some clips, I think, kind of through the chorus. So we went back and we finished this one. And I'm a big fan of ballads. I have to tell myself I need to only have one. We have two on this album, and it's more of like a vampire love song. I love anything creepy, horror movie-ish, for lyrical content. So yeah, this is my vampire kind of love song.
Of course, I have to go to Forgetting Sarah Marshall in the Dracula musical, right? We all want to write and star in a Dracula musical, especially it's Halloween time, right? Spooky season is
Best
coming
time
up.
of year. Yes,
Amazing.
definitely.
And then we have to talk about Kiss from a Rose. So if you're going to do a cover and you really made it yours, this cover is magical. I really can't get over how great it is.
Thank you. I wanted to do something that nobody would expect, and I've been in love with that song since I was very little. I've always loved singing along to it. I was like, God, we could totally rock this song up and make it totally unique. Because I went and I looked online. Of course, there's a million covers. They're all kind of they just try and do exactly like what Seal does. And I was like, we could do where all these vocal harmonies are, we can make them guitar harmonies and all this. And when we played it live, everybody was just kind of like, when they realized what it was, nobody was, I love to surprise people. And I'm really happy that we did this song because at first we didn't want to do a cover, but had to do it. And I'm so happy.
Awesome. People love covers, first of all. And then, second of all, when you do your own take on it in any way and take it away from the original a little bit, personally, not only do I love those guitar harmonies, I love the clean pick guitars on here. They're really beautiful, and it really highlights what a fantastic song it is in general. Just an incredible composed song. Seal's great. Anybody who doesn't like Seal, I don't trust them. Straight out.
Well, agree,
Right?
agree, 1000%.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
And then as we're getting down to the stretch of the album past the midway point, Flesh and Bones is the next track.
Yeah, we almost opened with this one. It was either going to be this or No Surrender, but I was like, this is a bit heavier, kind of darker lyrical content. I wanted this one to be more of a shreddy solo too. And this one's it's another probably one of my favorite guitar solos. It's really fun to play. And when I went back, because when you record it, it's been a while since we recorded it. I had to go back and re-teach myself what I played. And I had to figure out the harmony that I did for Patrick to play along. I was like, what the hell did I even write? I wrote some I really chose some weird notes and I don't know music theory. I don't know shit. I self-taught and Patrick knows it very well. And so he'll kind of say that it's very interesting that since I don't know theory, I will kind of choose out of the box that fit you that kind of don't make sense. But this is one of my favorite songs, one of my favorites to play live too.
Nice. Actually, that's one of my favorite songs, as well as this next one, Wasting Away. These are my two favorites on the record just by themselves.
Yay! See, we had a really hard time figuring out where to put the songs on this album because we wanted to put these two at the beginning, but we also wanted to end heavy as well. So it's really hard to figure out where to put these songs in the album because they're the more heavier rockin' ones. And we actually end the set with Wasting Away. And also, oh, I guess this is probably like my third favorite solo on the on the album. Just a straightforward and again, the lyrics coming from the pandemic, wasting away as the world just, burns away. Stuff like this is another one I have a hard time remembering my own lyrics. Another straightforward rocker.
Welcome to being a front person. And I don't know how people do it. And I don't begrudge anyone for sheets or teleprompter or anything because I
Uh-huh.
used to forget my lyrics all the time. And they were really important to me. I was like, this is about my life. And I don't remember the words. So, what are you going to do? I love the title of this one, As Chaos Consumes. It's very heady.
This is actually the second version of this song I've recorded. This was the first single that I ever released. This was the first song I ever wrote. I think it was back in 2016, maybe 2017. So it was never on an album, so I wanted to re-record it and have it fit, sonically with this album. And we didn't change. I think we maybe changed the guitar in the but other than that, it's pretty much the same song. And I think I wrote it about, I think I was watching The Walking Dead. Yeah, another kind of creepy zombie.
Did you manage to watch Walking Dead all the way through to the end?
No. Did
Most
you?
people didn't stick it out. I did because I'm a glutton for punishment. But some of
Yeah.
these spin-off shows have been really good. The Maggie and Negan show and the Daryl show. And you don't need to watch the whole series of Walking Dead to watch these little 6-episode jammies. I'm a fan.
And then I think I watched until Rick got taken off. And then I ran out of time. We've talked about starting it from the beginning,
Ooh,
completely just rewatching it all now that it's done. But my mom has told me she stuck it out as well. Kind of kept me up on everything that's happened.
nice. And shout out to Emily Kinney, who played Beth on the show. She's actually a singer-songwriter
Oh,
in
yeah.
Nashville. She has a solo career as a
Oh, that's
singer.
awesome. I love it.
And so we're down to the end of the record almost. Here's Sweet Insanity, the next to last track.
Yep. So this was actually going to be the very last song, second ballad on the album. I had written this one a long, quite a long time ago. This is one that I totally forgot that I had. It's in a horrible relationship. I think the lyrics say it all. It's about a shitty, horrible relationship that you know you need to get out of, but you feel stuck. And I was like, do I really want to have this on here? But a lot of people have said, that song lyrically really just speaks to them. So I'm glad we did it. I wanted it to sound happy as well in contrast to the sad lyrics.
I like that. And then the last track on the record is Unite. I like
Mhm.
the triumphant Unite.
So this one we stuck on the album last minute. Patrick and I have been working on the new Heaven Below album, and it's getting close to being done. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool for people that are fans of both things to have like this little Easter egg? And if they listen to both albums, so my album ends with this song, and the new Heaven Below album will come. So I wanted to have something in the album art too, connecting it, but we just didn't have time to make it happen. So it'll be a cool little thing if you listen to the new Heaven Below album.
We will do that. We'll link all your stuff will be linked in the description where people can find you and get ready for that. I imagine 2024 for the Heaven Below record.
Yep, we're hoping I think by March. Done with one album, straight into the next.
Straight into the next, and no doubt more tours and gigs with the Maidens. Just that's amazing. Thanks for breaking all that down for us. We're super excited for this. Just kind of for a final question, I know so many people look up to you and come up to you about guitar. What is a piece of advice you can give a young person starting out today that looks up to you? What's a good indispensable piece of how to learn guitar, how to get started on guitar?
I will say absolutely anything is possible that you put your mind to. I never thought I would be here 11 years later in Los Angeles getting to tour. This is a dream come true. So anything you put your mind to, you can do. It's just practice, 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 and do it because you love the instrument. Do it for the love of the music and the passion. And if you do that, I think all doors will be unlocked, and you got to do it for you, and don't listen to what anybody else says, especially online. Believe in yourself.
There it is. Online can be the worst. But, Nikki, it is awesome talking to you. Congratulations on this record. Congratulations on everything you've got going on. Thank you so much for hanging out with us at Ghost Cult. We really appreciate you, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me here.
Take care.